think the norm in a lot of our offices is we're selling a lot of homemakers, selling a lot of signatures, we're selling a lot of completes. We got a pretty solid closing ratio. We're selling a lot of custom sets, but we are not selling starter sets. And so my talk is going to be very straight to the point on really what does it take to drop down effectively. And this is something that through my career was a staple of mine is turning a lot of custom set orders, a lot of piece orders into starter sets will dramatically increase your average order. The way I like to look at it is homemakers, signatures, completes, that's like scoring a touchdown. But guys, selling a starter set, that's like getting a first down. And I'm pretty happy when we get first downs. So, just make sure to take solid notes on this part, implement, well, stay organized in this because I'm going to go over a lot of content in a short period of time here. And so I got a few keys for you guys. All right. And when it comes to dropping down, I think, let's go rehearse real quick. I do have a keynote here. All right. It's all a process of closing. All right. It's all a process of closing. And one thing I talk about is the C's of closing. Right. And how do you feel when you close? I'll just go ahead and write these down. I asked a lot of our top reps, like, what do you feel like is going well with your close? And they said, calm, cool, collected. So guys, you got to be calm, you got to be cool, collected, comfortable, confident, and clear. Calm, cool, collected, comfortable, confident, and clear. Guys, by a show of hands, who here genuinely feels a little uncomfortable as they're dropping down? Right? Like, I think as new representatives, that is one of the hardest parts of the job to master. But if you can, it will dramatically increase your results. And just know that as you're dropping down, there's a few objectives, right? A few things that you're looking to accomplish. And the first one is, are you making the customer comfortable? All right, guys, what Webster's Dictionary defines sales as a transfer of enthusiasm. That's what Taylor Max went over. That's the whole first 80% of the demo. Closing is different. Closing is they already have the enthusiasm. They already want the product. Now, how do we get them feeling comfortable with whatever option they're going to get? All right. The other question that, the customer needs answered is, why is the option right for them? Right. Every time you're showing the option, why is the option right for them? And also, why buy now? Why buy a set now and not later? Right? How do you make it comfortable? Make it so that that option is right for them. And why should they buy now? All right. And, when it comes to dropping down, I've given a few talks in Alliance about this. I've given, I do the talks in training. So the first thing I want to cover, what are the fundamentals? Because I'm going to go over some advanced stuff with you guys. But if you don't have the fundamentals down, don't even worry about the advanced stuff yet. And make sure you have these accomplished first. All right. So what are the fundamentals of dropping down? And I've gone over this with our team before, right? But ask yourself, are you implementing these things? All right. Number one, go slow. Guys, one of my pet peeves is when our reps call in, and they call in, hey, Luke, we need a discount on the homemaker. I'll give them a discount for the homemaker. Then they call me back 5 minutes later telling me it was a piece order or no sale or something like that. As soon as I get a call back within a couple minutes of that, I know they did it the wrong way. Guys, dropping down should take about as long as the rest of the demo if you do it the right way. Work with the customer. It's impossible to have a lot of clarity if you're not going slowly. All right. And a lot of times people tend to rush this part. Okay. Number two, make all numbers visual. Make all numbers visual. Guys, if you're not doing this, this is the easiest fix in the world to automatically increase both your closing ratio and your average order. But when it comes to numbers, there are a lot of things where people are either visual or auditory, but when it comes to numbers, everyone is visual. You say numbers out loud, it goes in one ear, out the other. So you got to make sure that the customer is either writing prices down, or you can use the whiteboard feature on Zoom and type it out for them. But you got to make numbers visual. Okay. Number three, and here's, I think, the biggest one for new representatives and the biggest pitfall is you have to increase your enthusiasm as you drop down. All right, guys, we just spent 30 to 40 minutes focusing on selling them a homemaker. And then as soon as you get to a galley, it's different than what you've been talking about before, and people's enthusiasm drops. It's impossible to make a sale if you don't increase the enthusiasm as you go through. And this is where enthusiasm gets even more important. If you get discouraged at a no to the homemaker, guys, they're not saying no to Cutco, they're saying no to that option, right? And you have to increase your enthusiasm as you go, otherwise you're screwed, right? And I've heard some of our reps call in from demos, and they're talking about, pieces of starter sets, and they sound like their dog just died. They're like, oh, okay. So Luke, they're looking at these 3 pieces. Versus like, hey, Luke, like they love these 3 pieces. I was wondering if we can get a deal for like that. Guys, you got to increase the enthusiasm as you go through this. Not get discouraged at a homemaker. Right? You should be smiling at a no to the homemaker. Right? You should be smiling every time. Okay. Then the last one in the fundamentals, guys, you got to show every option. Right? You can't sit there and just, if they say, hey, honey, can I just get pieces? Don't go straight to pieces. It is, just sales psychology that some people need to say no a certain number of times before they say yes. So try to get as many no's out of the way as possible while still staying on the sets. Right? But if you go straight from homemaker no, galley no to pieces no, well, then you've only gotten 3 no's out of the way. That's why you're selling 1 piece or having no sales. Right? You should never have it done where you go straight to pieces. I don't care what they're interested in. Okay? So guys, those are the fundamentals. And I would go ahead and right now, write those down and rate yourself. Rate yourself on how you've done and which is the one you can most improve on, and have that be your focus moving forward. All right. Those are the fundamentals. Now I'm going to go over some advanced stuff, but first, before I do any of that, you got to make sure you master these ones. All right. Now, when it comes to something, some things that are a little more advanced, if you really want to take dropping down to the next level, and this goes for just being a great communicator, being a great influencer. I think one of the best skill sets that anyone can have for anything is learning how to utilize questions. Right? Great leaders ask great questions. Great sales reps ask great questions. How do you utilize questions through dropping down? And what questions do are they let the customer come to conclusions themselves, right? Rather than you even having to sell it, you can ask them questions that will force them to build the value in their own mind, right? Versus telling someone something versus asking them, and they sell themselves on the value of the product, okay? So first of all, there's a few questions to ask before you drop down. And, I go through some of these in training. We give you guys a couple extra, but, we've been doing skills checks a lot in our office, and people are forgetting these guys. These are critical, because I think the number one thing when it comes to dropping down is, how do you make the customer feel comfortable, right? But the way you make them feel comfortable is through these questions, right? They just said no. They're in a no state of mind. They are in a negative state. We need to get them to an affirmative state, to a positive state. How do we switch them easily to a yes before you can drop down? All right. One of the reasons dropping down feels uncomfortable is if you don't do this. If you never get those psychological walls back down, right? If you never get them receptive or open, okay? You can't just tell them things. That's when you feel pushy, is when like, here's this option. No. Okay. Well, here's this option. No. Okay. Well, here's this option. No. Okay. Well, it's weird, right? So you have to ask them questions to help them come to conclusions themselves. So guys, let's say they say no to the homemaker. Hey, Ms. Jones, first of all, by the way, anytime someone says no to anything, first thing you got to say all the time, no matter what, no problem, Ms. Jones. I totally understand. And make it genuine. Don't be like, no problem, Ms. Jones. Like, I understand. It's, hey, Ms. Jones, no problem. Like, totally understand where you're from. Now, first of all, Ms. Jones, let me ask you, did you like Cutco? Well, everyone should say that. And if you had it, would you use it? Guys, those are the ones we go over in training. And if you're not at least implementing those, guys, that will make your drop-down process so much more comfortable. Why? Because we need to show the customer that we are selling for them and not to them. And if you don't ask these questions, it feels like you're selling to them. You're like, well, get this one. No? Okay, well, get this one. Versus if they just told you they like Cutco and they want it and they would use it, well then, cool, let me just show you one that's going to work for you. Automatically makes it so much more comfortable dropping down. All right. Now, there's also a few questions you can ask them that will help build the value without you even having to build the value for them. Right. So one of those is, before you drop down, here's another one you can add is, hey, Ms. Jones, what was your favorite part, or what was your favorite piece? What's your favorite thing about Cutco? And then they will proceed to sell you on why Cutco is awesome. Oh, honey, I just love the guarantee. Like, that's so awesome that you kind of have the state of mind that just, you never have to replace it. Or, honey, I love the double D edge. I love how they look. I love, they're saying all the reasons why they like it versus you trying to tell them why they like it. Even, sometimes you're like, yeah, but Jones, the guarantee. And maybe that's not what's most appealing to them. Maybe they just really like the handles. Maybe they just really like the double D edge. Maybe they just really like the videos, but ask them, hey, what was your favorite part? What was your favorite thing about Cutco? What was your favorite feature? and they'll sell you on why they like it. All right. Another great question, guys, to help take and drop it down to the next level. You know, one thing to understand is that people don't buy when they like see the product they like. They buy when they feel understood. They buy when they feel understood. How do they feel understood? Well, you need to show them that you're listening to whatever their responses are to these questions. All right. So another great question for dropping down to the galley is, hey, Ms. Jones, is it like a little too much or like a lot too much? Is it a little too much or a lot too much? Right. So, you know, honey, no, we're not going to go ahead and get the homemaker. Hey, no problem. Totally understand. Now, let me ask, did you like Coco? You did? Okay, cool. And by the way, anytime you ask a question, you want to draw the yes out of them. Right. That comes with your voice tonality and your body language. It's like, did you like Coco? You're asking, it's like, come on, Miss Jones. It's like my friends used to ask in college and they're like, Luke, come on, you're going to go out, right? I'm like, and they make it impossible to say no, right? Make it impossible for them to say no. Miss Jones, did you like Coco? You did? All right, cool. And if you had it, would you use it? You would? All right, perfect. So what was your favorite part? Like, what do you like most about Coco? All right, cool. The guarantee. Perfect. So let me ask you this, Miss Jones. You know, for the homemaker, is it just like, is it a little too much? Or is it like a lot too much? It's a lot too much? Okay. And now, is it too much like for the knives, or is it, you know, too many knives, or is it just too much for the budget? All right, you got to identify what is the reason. Okay, so there's a few purposes to all these questions, guys. The first two right here, those get the customer from a no to a yes. Automatically makes things more comfortable. This right here rebuilds the value in the product based off whatever they care about. These right here help you identify what is their real objection. You know, sometimes when you're dropping down, you guys are handling the wrong objection. She tells you she wouldn't use that many knives, and you're sitting here trying to, you know, pitch why it's so affordable. Well, that's not appealing to her actual objection. Or maybe it's the other way around, right? Maybe they fully see the use in the product and it's just a price problem. And that's going to, you know, that's going to determine how we drop down, right? So is it a little too much, or is it just like a lot too much? Right? No matter what, well, guess what? The galley's perfect for you, Ms. Jones. It's a few less knives for a lot less money. Okay. Here's the next big tip for dropping down, guys. And this is one that, you know, is a little more advanced, but I think is absolutely critical, is you got to build up the next option. You know, like I mentioned before, most of, you know, we're spending the entire demo selling them a Homemaker Signature Complete. Then all of a sudden you're showing them another option they don't know about. Well, they were just sold on the Homemaker Signature Complete. Raise your hand if you ever had someone that says like, honey, if I'm going to get it, I want to get it all at once. I want the Homemaker. Guys, that doesn't make sense. That's like being like, yo, Andrew, I want Starburst. And he's got a whole pack of Starburst. And he gives me one. It's like, no, dude. Like, if I want one, I want the whole pack. What? Like, that makes no sense, right? So you have to sell them off the previous set. You have to sell them off the previous set. You know, when you're at the BMW dealership and they show you the 7 Series, they don't just go down to the 5 Series after you said no to the 7 and be like, well, this is the 5. It's not as good as the 7, but it's pretty cool. No, they're going to increase the enthusiasm, and they're going to sell you off last one. They're going to be like, yo, Andrew, do you even like have a family? No, you don't need a car this big, dude. Like, let me shoot the 5. Perfect for you. Still comes with the heated seats. Still comes with the navigation system, right? They're going to hype up the next option. You got to build up the next option and sell them off the previous option. Well, this you can also do through questions, right? Here's a great transition from the Homemaker to the Galley set. Remember, one of the objectives is, why is this option perfect for them? You can do this through questions. Number 1, Ms. Jones, let me ask you, do you carve a turkey every day? Guys, you want to pull a no out of this, right? Ms. Jones, like, do you carve a turkey every day? No one's going to say yes to that, guys. Everyone's going to be like, no. So, okay, cool. So you could probably go without the carving set. And, you know, do you cut like heavy duty stuff like all the time? And by the way, notice how I'm saying that. Do you cut heavy duty stuff like all the time? Because some people really like the butcher knife, but they're also not cutting heavy duty stuff all the time. So emphasize the all the time. Ms. Jones, do you cut heavy duty stuff like all the time? You don't? All right. Well, then I have to show you the next option, Ms. Jones. It's called our Galley set. It actually gets rid of the, you know, the carving set and the butcher knife, and it's just a few less knives for like a lot less money. You guys see the difference there? Versus like, hey, this is the next option, versus this is the perfect option for you, Ms. Jones. And you didn't tell them it's the perfect option for them. You asked them, and through their answers, you listened to them and showed them the right option for them. Do you see how much more comfortable that is? Right? That's how you sell Galley. Now, go into the starter sets. Go into the starter sets. There's a few questions that you can make the option feel perfect for them. And you're going to do this, surprise, surprise, through questions. Okay? First of all, Ms. Jones, and you're going to show them the Galley. I'll pull that up and share my screen with that in a second and show you how to do this. It says, Ms. Jones, which one piece do you feel like you would use the least in the Galley set? Now, the phrasing on that is very important. Do not ask them which ones they would use. Ask them which one would you use the least. And I'll show you why in a second. All right, because if you ask them which ones they would use, guys, for half of your customers, they'd probably do better cutting with the turning fork than whatever knives they have. So, Ms. Jones, which one would you use the least? Okay, cool. And let me ask you this, Ms. Jones, would you use the block? Most people are going to say yes to that. Sometimes it's a no. And the last one, guys, you really want to increase your average order? Crush this last question. And Ms. Jones, you'd use the table knives, right? So, Ms. Jones, which piece would you use the least? All right. Ms. Jones, would you use the block? All right, cool. And you'd use the table knives, right? And that one you want to draw the yes out of it. The other two, investigate. Figure out what is really, like, what is going to appeal to them. What set is perfect for them? And then the last one, increase your average order just by adding table knives to everything. So that's where you want to draw a yes, like Ms. Jones. You'd use the table knives, right? Okay, for sure. Okay, and I'll show you what this does for them, guys, is when you're dropping down, here's what you can do. You can show them the perfect option for them. Let me go ahead and go to my vector demo, or no, I'll go to the your Cutco demo, excuse me. I'll share this with you. And you can use that information to show them, instead of showing them every single starter set, show them the option that's perfect for them. Right, if we go down to set options, right, we're on the Galley set. Okay. So Ms. Jones, which of these would you use the least? Let's say she says the chef knife, which would be an absolutely insane answer, but let's say she says that. Let's say she says the chef knife and she says she does want a block and she does want table knives. Cool. Well, you're just going to go here, go to the next one. Okay, cool. Which one doesn't have a chef knife and has a block? Well, the studio set, and it has table knives. So, Ms. Jones, based off what you told me, this looks like it'd be the perfect set for you. You know, it comes with this, 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 and this, and yada, 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 right? Let's say, oh, honey, I just wouldn't use the turning fork, and I probably don't need a block. Cool, well, go over here, you don't need a block, and these ones don't have turning forks, Ms. Jones, and, we can throw on 4 table knives with the set so that you have the table knives as well. That you can just throw in the drawer. So which of these do you like better? Okay, so on and so forth. But use those. Just go. These are the ones with the blocks. These are the ones without blocks. So based off whatever they say to the block question, go to each one and select the option that doesn't have whichever one they said they would use the least in the Galley set. That way, you're showing the perfect option for them versus just showing them options. All right. So. That's how you can utilize questions, guys. You can accomplish how do you make it comfortable and how do you show them the option that's perfect for them, okay? Now, I also want to cover what are some pitfalls that happen with most people when it comes to dropping down, all right? Here is a huge key is just clarity. All right, going to go through these real quick. All right, how do you be as clear as possible? All right, another one of the C's was clarity. Okay, one of the biggest reasons people say no while you're dropping down is they have no clue what you're talking about. They don't know what they're getting. They don't know for what price. You just had them write down 4 prices because you had them do the ones with the table knives and without the table knives, and they're just like looking at numbers all over the paper, and they're like, they don't know what's going on, and they don't ask questions, guys. A confused mind always defaults to no. So you have to be as clear as possible. So every single time that you show a set, what I just showed you guys, what are the questions, what are the transitions that get you from set to set? Now let's go over how do you actually show and present those sets? How do you be as clear as possible with what they're getting? All right. First of all, cover the items in the set. All right. For the Galley, it's like Ms. Jones. This comes with the paring knife for the air, spatula for sandwiches, the meat knife, the turning fork, the serving piece, so on and so forth. It's all in the manual, but you got to walk through each one slowly so they know exactly what's coming in each one. Keep in mind, guys, you guys know what all the knives do because you've been doing this job for some of you for 4 or 5 days, some of you for months. They don't. They just sat through a 30-minute presentation talking about what the knives do. They're not that familiar with them. So and by the way, as you go through the items, if they said they like one, use that to your advantage. Ms. Jones, it comes with the spreader that you love, right? It goes with comes with the turning fork. Remember the one I told the story about, right? Get an emotional attachment to each piece. If they said they like one, or if you told a story or a joke about one, bring that up again as you're going through the items. Okay? So cover the items, and then price comparison. Every time that you ask, say, hey, Ms. Jones, instead of paying $13.26 for the homemaker set, this one just comes with, for this much, for this much. Instead of paying blank, this one is just blank. Instead of paying blank, this one's just blank. That's how you should ask. That's how you should present every single time. All right. And you can either, by the way, you can use the previous set of the Galley, but I also know a lot of you guys don't have those prices. If you want, here's the easy way. Compare it to the homemaker every time. You could be showing a kitchenette set for $400 and be like, hey, Ms. Jones, instead of paying $13.26 for the homemaker, this one is actually only like, I don't know the prices, but it's like $418 or $96 a month. Okay, so always compare the price, offer perspective. All right. Number 3 is you have to give them the 5-pay and the weekly price. Give them the 5-pay and the weekly price. All right. So Ms. Jones, instead of paying $13.26 for the homemaker set, your essential set is only essentials plus 5 is only $774, which actually just comes out to $140 a month. And Ms. Jones, I'm looking at it right now. It's only about $40 a week. It's like $20 from you, $20 from your husband. I literally spend more than that on Chipotle, Ms. Jones. All right. Now, guys, if price is the problem, right, which it is, I would say the majority of the time, then use this as an opportunity to make it seem like not a lot of money, right? Most of the times, one that comes to mind is you'll get the husband objection, right? And she'll be like, oh, I feel like, I can't get it without my husband. And you ask him, is it a little too much? Is it a lot too much? He's like, oh, it's just a lot too much. We like to make big purchases together. Okay. Guys, the goal is not to handle the husband objection. The real objection there is that she views this as a big purchase. How do you make this seem like a small purchase? Well, Ms. Jones, on the 5-pay, it just comes out to $130 a month. Per week, that comes out to like $25 a week from you and your husband. If it's $50, you could always, if they're married, split it up. Like, Ms. Jones, that's $30 a week from you and your husband. That's like filling gas in the car. All right. So rather than trying to deal with the husband, deal with her view of it being a big purchase. Use this as an opportunity to, downplay the price. Okay. You're always going to either downplay the price or downplay the size. If you're downplaying the price, you're doing it right here as you give the price. If you're downplaying the size because they feel like they wouldn't use that much, you're doing it with the items. All right, Ms. Jones, all it comes with is this, and that. The ones you're going to be using every single day. And that's how you really handle the objections. Okay. And then number 4, guys, free stuff. Use this, the buy now bonus. This is why they buy today rather than later. And, I've been telling this to my team recently. The buy now bonus, I understand that if a customer calls you back, you can sell them a discounted set or you can still give them free stuff. But for me, it was a personal integrity thing that I wouldn't don't give them a buy now bonus if they call back later. Don't give them a buy now bonus if they want to talk to their husband and get back to you by tonight. The buy now bonus is for if they buy now, right? Now, I'm going to go over this again in another slide in a second, but I just don't want to forget it. I want to bring it up now. Guys, the sets do not come with the shears. They do not come with free stuff. I will give you free stuff, or I will buy you the shears. It does come out of your commission technically. So you can say, I'll buy you the shears. All right. But don't say it comes with it. That gives you no wiggle room. Right. If you say it comes with an entertainment pack, then they're expecting that. You have no wiggle room to work out any sort of deals, or you have no leverage. Right. That's when they don't see it as a buy now bonus. They're like, oh, you said it came with it. All right. So you got to be very clear. Ms. Jones, for buying it today, I can actually buy you the shears. I'll take it out of my own paycheck. Or Ms. Jones, it doesn't come with the shears. Say, Ms. Jones, if you go ahead and get it today, we can throw in those shears for free as like a buy now, as a gift, as a buy now bonus. Okay. And the last one, guys, is confident ask. Confident ask. As I'm doing skills checks, guys, this is the biggest thing. You need to be very confident in the way you ask. All right. Which leads me to my next big tip. And I think this is the biggest one that I'm going to have of this whole talk. And that is, don't be a simp. Don't be a simp. Guys, you guys are letting your customers walk all over you. That's sucker dropping down. It's when, you're being a wimp. I said simp instead because I just learned what this word means. All right, you're simping for your customers. You're letting them walk all over you. You're letting them be the ones that determine the appointment. But if you learn to manage through questions, then you can control the appointment. Guys, you're the kitchen expert. You're kitchen consultants. That's what your job is. You should be able to ask a customer what they cook and tell them what's right for them. All right, so how do you not be a simp? Well, first of all, closing questions. You should never say the words like, are you interested? Or do you maybe want to get that one, Miss Jones? And I'm hearing people in skills checks being like, so you maybe want to go ahead and get that, or does that sound good? Right, you got to ask confidently, right? I'm going to have some examples on here for you on how to ask confidently. Okay, this is what I was talking about before. It doesn't come with the shears. Miss Jones, I'll give you the shears for free. I'll buy you the shears. You got to have confidence, all right? You got to eliminate weak language. No maybes, no are you interested, no if you could, if you want. Oh, that's a huge one. If you want. Miss Jones, you can get that one if you want. Well, guys, you're a salesperson. If we were just catering to what they want from the start of the demo, you'd be taking orders. You should be working retail. That's not sales. Sales is selling them on, sales is changing their pattern. Sales is changing what they thought to get them to buy something. Right now, you do it for them instead of to them, but you got to eliminate the weak language if you want to close sales. Right? There's a huge difference being like, hey, you can get that one if you want, or Miss Jones, that one sounds better, right? Or which of these options looks best for you, Miss Jones? Notice, by the way, my voice doesn't go up, it goes down. Which of those is better, Miss Jones? Versus you can get that if you want. Trail your voice down to sound more confident. Okay. Here's another great line. Here's, if you don't know what to do or how to ask, I love saying, you go through the items. Miss Jones comes with this, 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 and this, right? Now, that one, instead of paying, you do the price comparison. Instead of paying $13.26 for the homemaker set, it just comes out to this much, which is actually this much or just this much per month, which comes out to only this much a week, Miss Jones. This is literally what my friends and I spend on Chipotle. And if you get that, I can actually buy you the free shears. Or I can actually buy you the shears, $120 value. And Miss Jones, if you go ahead and get this, you'd never have to buy another set. You never have to buy knives ever again. How's that sound? That's a confident way of asking. Oh, you can say that every single set if you want to. Miss Jones, you never have to buy knives ever. You get this, you never have to buy knives ever again. Guys, that is building the long-term value. You're building value in the way that you ask. You're reminding them, hey, go ahead, get this starter set, Miss Jones. You'll never have to replace your knives ever again. How's that sound? That's a lot easier to say yes to than, Miss Jones, do you want to maybe go ahead and get that? Which is probably what half you guys are doing. All right? So don't be a simp. Guys, that's, if there's one thing, you got to have the confidence to ask the right questions, but you also have to close confidently. There's a difference between being pushy and being assertive. And if you are enthusiastic, you do this through questions, it's impossible to be pushy. So you can be a little more assertive, right? By saying, how does that sound? Or, that one right for you, Miss Jones? Okay. Miss Jones, do you feel like this option suits your family well? All right. There's a ton of different ways you can do it, but you got to do it with confidence. All right. One of the last things I want to go over is you have to become a master at handling objections. And this is one of those things that's going to help you with Cutco. It's going to help you with life. You can apply it anywhere. And I know I talk about this in advanced training, but this is critical to one of the skill sets you'll be able to learn from this job. Is how do you turn a no into a yes? And a lot of people do this wrong. You see two people disagreeing about anything. It could be a political argument, could be a relationship argument, it could be just someone saying no to wherever you want to go eat. But no matter what, you handle this the same way every single time. And first, I agree with how they feel. Miss Jones, no problem. I totally understand where you're coming from. If I were in your shoes, I'd feel the same way. All right. Oh, I totally feel you, Miss Jones. Like, it's definitely a lot of money to be in. I understand that you want to think about it. Right. But then, guys, this is next level. I've only taught you the 3. We usually teach agree, handle it, and then ask. Well, step 2, here's the varsity version, right? Here's the step up is you got to identify what's their real objection. Keep in mind, if she says like her husband, she wants to ask her husband, that's usually not the real reason. Usually that's her polite way of saying it's either too many knives or too much for the budget. And you have to investigate a little bit. Hey, Miss Jones, I totally know where you're coming from. I understand 1326 is allowed to be impulsive and a lot to just get without asking your husband. But, here's the deal, Miss Jones. If you called him and asked him if you could get it, what do you think he would say? You think he'd say it's like too many knives or too much for the budget? Well, she says too many knives. That's what she's thinking. That's not what he's thinking. You have to identify what is the real objection, right? Oh, he doesn't like making like big purchases. Well, guys, in reality, she's not calling him when she goes to the grocery store. That's more than down payment on a homemaker, right? So we need to reframe what is a big purchase. That's the objection you have to handle, okay? Step 3 is you have to give an alternative truth or opinion, right? You have to handle the objection, right? You have to frame it so that it's not that much. Ms. Jones, again, I totally see where you're coming from. I wouldn't want to make a big decision without him either. Now, here's the deal, Ms. Jones, is Cutco knows that. That's why we have that 15-day money-back guarantee. So, you can just put down a tiny 1/5 deposit, and, that way you can both try it out. It's not nearly as much. It's less than a grocery bill. And that way he can actually make a decision, but based off having the knives, right? You like Cutco, right, Ms. Jones? And if you had it, you would use it. All right, well, let's at least give you a shot at owning them. And that way you can try them out together for a few weeks. How's that sound? All right. Then ask again. Guys, when you ask a question, here's why this is so important anytime you're handling objections, is if you just do the first 3 steps and you don't ask for the order again, guess what they're going to come back with? Another objection. But if you ever ask a question, they are forced to answer the question. They don't come back with another objection. This goes for if you're arguing with your friends on where you want to go out to eat. You ask. Otherwise, they'll just come at you with more options. All right, gentlemen, if your girlfriend keeps saying she doesn't care where she wants to eat, you got to give them some options. All right. Otherwise, they're going to be, oh, no, not going to do that, not going to do that. All right. You have to ask in order to take control of the conversation. All right. So you can apply this at any point of the demo. Now, here's one thing about handling objections, guys, is it's not just about handling the objection and asking again for the same order. This could also be your structure for dropping down. This could also be the macro level view of what's going on. She says no to the homemaker. First, agree with how she feels. Ms. Jones, no problem. I totally understand where you're coming from. I guess during the pandemic, you're probably trying to save money. You are? Okay, cool. So, Ms. Jones, did you like Cutco? Then we're going to identify the objection. Did you like Cutco? If you had it, would you use it? All right, cool. What was your favorite part? For sure. So, what is it about the homemaker you're unsure of, Ms. Jones? Is it like a little too much or a lot too much? It's a lot too much? All right, is it like too many knives or is it too much for the budget? All right, too much for the budget, boom. You identified the objection. Then, hey, I totally understand. The alternative truth or opinion from a macro level is the Galley set. We just show them why it's perfect for them. So you ask them, Ms. Jones, do you carve a turkey every day? No? Are you cutting like heavy duty stuff like all the time? No? Okay, cool. Well, this next set is perfect for you, Ms. Jones. It's a few less knives for a lot less money. It's going to save you a ton. And then boom, you ask for the order. She says no to that. Cool. You do the same thing. You go down to the starter sets. Guys, this is a skill you got to learn to master. And there's also no textbook way of there's no textbook words you should say in here. All right? You can play around with it. But guess what? If you screw up with handling objections, you're right where you started. So just play around with it. You're already at a no. Worst case scenario, you're still at a no. All right. So you gotta be confident. You can't be a simp. You got to be confident in being able to do this. Think of this structure as you go through. Okay. So guys, that's what I got for you today. In review, just don't be a simp. Don't be a simp. That's the biggest one is most people let their customers walk all over them. How can you show that the option is perfect for them? Why is today the perfect day to buy, right? Why the buy now bonus? You have to be strict on the buy now bonus. And by the way, use contests and push periods as, hey, Ms. Jones, today is, take advantage of me because I'm in this huge contest. We can give you the best deals and discounts possible, right? And then bring that up as you're closing, okay? And ultimately, guys, just make it comfortable. Quit being so nervous. You view it as an opportunity to play around, an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to implement these kinds of things. Don't get discouraged after a no to the homemaker. You got to take advantage of the opportunity, and let's start going out there and selling some more starter sets. All right.
Yes. Hey, I see a lot of head nods on this talk. You guys feeling this one? The chat is blowing. I'm on 4 chats. I think my phone is broken. I need a new iPhone. Okay. Hey, Luke, snaps. Okay. No simping in Florida coast. No simping in Florida Caribbean.